Okay, well, hopefully you watched Mr. Walker's video. He showed you two ways that we can do these problems today, and I'm going to show you two ways on several more problems. So pay close attention, and I'll tell you this, when you see the addition sign today, you can smile because the addition ones are super duper easy. What we're doing today, so we're adding fractions less than 1 to, or subtract a subtraction less than 1 from a whole number using decomposition and visual models. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. What we're doing is we're adding and subtracting a whole number and a fraction. Okay. So we got to figure out how to do that. Like I said, when you see the adding sign, it's like totally easy because all we have to do is 3 plus 1/3 is 3 1/3 more. That's nothing. That's what we've been doing already. 3 plus 1/3 is 3 1/3. The second one, 4 plus 3/4, that's 4 3/4, as long as we're adding. It's when you get to the subtraction today that it gets a little bit trickier if you saw Mr. Walker's video, but it's not that hard. And so I want to show you one way to do it first, and then I'll show you an easier way in a minute. So if we want to use a tape diagram to represent 3, then what we have to do is just draw 3 boxes. 1, 2, there's 3 whole boxes. But we got to take away 1/4. How do we do that? Well, let's split these boxes into fourths. So that box has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. This box has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And this box has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Now, here's what I would tell you to do. Count all the, one second, my phone is ringing. Okay, it's a busy day around school here. I keep getting calls. So we have split this 3 into 3 holes, and then we took each hole and split it into fourths. How many fourths do we have altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 3 is the same thing as 12 fourths. Did you get that? Because we took 3 whole boxes, 1, 2, 3 whole boxes, and we split each one of those whole boxes into fourths, and then I just counted how many fourths is 3. 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fourths. Look at something with me. If I took 12 and I divided it by 4, what's 12 divided by 4? What times 4 is 12? 3. So you see that? 12 fourths is the same thing as 3. So 12 fourths equals 3. But now look what I can do. I've got 12 fourths minus 1/4. How many fourths am I going to have left? I'm going to have 12 minus 1, or 11 fourths left. Okay? I don't think today that you have, on these first few, that you have to write them as a mixed number, but just in case, let's decompose it. 11 fourths, that's going to be, yeah, let's not worry about that because that's going to get to something we haven't done yet. So we're just going to leave it 11 fourths for right now. But if we were to look at our picture down here, and let's shade in these 12 fourths, okay? I'm shading in 12 fourths. But I'm going to take one of the fourths away. You're gone, Mr. Fourth. How many am I left with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fourths. 11 fourths. That's what it's wanting you to see by drawing the picture on these today. Okay, let's go to the next problem. And this one says 5 2/5. So we can draw our diagram. I'm going to put it, I guess I'll put it over here. Draw some boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 whole boxes. That represents the 5. But we've got to split these boxes into fifths to find out how many fifths 5 is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 5 there. There's 5 more. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 fifths. So 5 is the same thing as 25 fifths. I suggest make your picture a little bigger than mine because that was hard to count. 25 fifths. So 5 is equivalent to 25 fifths. Look at this. If I took 25 and divide it by 5, what am I going to get? What times 5 is 25? Of course, 5 is. So 25 fifths is the same thing as 5. Okay? Remember when we had a problem like 5 fifths? 5 fifths equals 1? Yeah. 5 divided by 5 is 1. If you had 10 fifths, 10 divided by 5 would be 2. If you have 25 fifths, 25 divided by 5 is 5. So think about it like that. So we were basically breaking down 5 into fifths, and it made it 25 fifths. Now I can subtract 25 fifths minus 2 fifths. 25 minus 2 is 23 fifths. In our picture, if I was just to get rid of 2 fifths of the 25, there would be 23 left. Okay? Now, the next one says use a number bond. So this is the other way that we can do this. 4 minus 1/3. So let's break this down. It's 4. We're doing different than we used to. Let's take a third. Let's divide this into thirds. So we'll leave 3. And how many thirds would I need to make one more so that 3 plus 1 would be 4? It would be 3 thirds, right? 3 is equal to 3. 3 thirds is equal to 1. So if we were to add those together, 3 plus 1, we would get 4. So this is the number bond part, okay? I'm not going to worry about the number line part. We're just going to do it like this. So 3 plus 3 thirds, I can just rewrite that above the 4. 3 and 3 thirds. We know it's the same thing as a 4 minus 1/3. So I'm just going to leave my 3 alone. And I have 3 thirds minus 1/3, and that is 2 thirds. Which way do you like better? Do you like making the 5 and splitting it into fifths, making it 25 fifths, and then subtracting? Or do you like using this number bond and splitting the whole number into a fraction and a number? Whichever way you like best, that's the way I would do it. All right, 5 minus 2 thirds. So we're going to decompose 5 and make it a 4. And we've got to make thirds. So 3 thirds. So 4 plus 1 more. 3 thirds would be 1, right? That would equal 5. 4 plus 1 would equal 5. So I'm just going to take these two numbers and I'm going to write them up here. 4 and 3 thirds. It's the same thing as 5. Now I can subtract. So I have my 4 and I have 3 thirds minus 2 thirds. That's 1/3. 3 thirds minus 2 thirds is 1/3. I like this way better, I think. I think this is a little simpler, especially better than drawing all those big diagrams. Let's take the 7. Let's decompose it. We're going to make it 6. And we're going to make these 8s. So let's do 8 eighths. 6 plus 8 eighths. 8 eighths is equal to 1. So that would be 6 plus 1 is 7. That's why we're able to do it like this. So we're just going to take these two numbers and write them up here. 6 and 8 eighths because they're the same thing as a 7. Now I can subtract 6 and 8 eighths minus 3 eighths is 5 eighths. Are you getting it? I hope so. If not, we're going to work a few more here. We'll decompose this 10. We'll make it a 9. And we're working in tenths, so we're going to make it 10 tenths. Remember, 10 tenths is equal to 1, so 9 plus 1 is 10, so we did it right. So I'm going to take these two numbers, 9 and 10 tenths, because that's the same thing as a 10, and now I can subtract easy. I have my 9, 10 tenths minus 4 tenths is 6 tenths. Okay, you getting this? All right, let's work some more. Let's work some more. We're going to work ourselves a lot. We're working ourselves hard this week, learning all these fractions. Those of you who are in Miss McLaughlin's class who are quarantined with us, you're going to be ahead when you go back to her. She's going to be like, how do you already know how to do these? I want you to tell her this. Tell her, because Mr. Helton is such an amazing math teacher, to make her jealous, okay? I'm just kidding. She's a great math teacher. I know she is. She's been teaching math longer than I have. All right, we're going to do the same thing using number bonds. Just breaking them down here. 3 minus 1/10. We're going to make it 2 and 10/10. I'm going to go a little bit faster since I've worked several of these, because 10/10 is 1. 2 plus 1 would be 3. So I can say 2 and 10/10 minus 1/10. 10/10 minus 1/10 would be 9/10. Gives me 2 and 9/10. 5, we'll break it down. 4, and we're going to make fourths, and 4/4. Okay, so 5 is the same thing as 4 and 4/4. And we'll put that 4 there. Now we have 4/4 minus 3/4 is 1/4. 6 minus 5/8, decompose it. That's going to be 5. We've got to do 8s this time. So 8/8 would be 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. So this changes into 5 and 8/8. Put our 5 down because we're not subtracting any whole numbers. Now we're just subtracting 8/8 minus 5/8, and that would give us 3/8. 7 minus 3/9. Break it down into 6. And we're going to do 9ths this time. So 9/9. 6 and 1 more would be 9/9. So that would be 7. 6 plus 1 is 7. So 6 and 9/9. Don't have any whole numbers to take away, so leave the 6 alone. And now we do 9/9 minus 3/9, and that is 6/9. 2 more. 8 minus 6/10. Got to work in tenths this time, so we're going to make it 7 and 10/10. Remember, we just took 7, and this 10/10 would be 1. 7 and 1 more would be 8. So 7 and 10/10. We're not taking away anything from the whole number, so it stays alone. We're just doing 10/10 minus 6/10, and that would be 4/10. Holy moly, look at this one, 29. It doesn't matter, we're going to do it the same way. We're working in 12ths, though, so we're going to make it 28 and 12/12, because 28 and 1 more would be 29. So 28 and 12/12 minus 9/12. So the 28 stays the same. Didn't take anything away from it. But we have 12/12 minus 9/12. So that gives us 3/12. Okay. Well, that is how you're going to do these today. I've worked several examples for you. Remember, if you're adding, you can smile because you're just going to, it makes it really simple. But when you're subtracting, you're going to have to break these down or draw some tape diagrams to figure out the answer. But I know you can do it because you're so smart. And I'm so full of allergies, I guess. Sorry about that. I'll let you get to work. If you have any problems, I'll be glad to help you in a Google Meet today. See you then.